Welcome back to the Real World Unscripted. I'm Quave, your host, and today we will be deep diving into a question, a situation that many have seemed to have forgotten about. A situation where life itself was put on hold, banks were crying out for help, and money seemed to be coming and going. Yes, that's right, the 2008 Great Recession. Many feel as if the government saved us, but what if I was here to tell you that was untrue? What if I was here to tell you the one thing America despises, the one thing we seem to criminalize, was the one thing that kept us afloat? Stay tuned to the Real World Unscripted as we dive deeper into this topic.
This is Real World Unscripted.
Once again, welcome back to the Real World Unscripted, the podcast where we explore the hidden mechanics that shape our communities and our economics today. Today's episode, we dive into a fascinating but perhaps unexpected stabilizing force during the 2008 financial crisis: the underground economy, specifically the drug market. Yep, you heard it right. Today we are asking, how did the drug market, often seen as purely criminal enterprises, actually contribute to the economic stability during one of the most turbulent financial periods in recent history? Well, in order for us to understand that, we have to understand what happened during the 2008 financial market crash. Here's Warren Buffett as he gives you a little rundown.
On Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
The Dow traders are standing there watching in amazement. I don't blame them.
We're now down 43%.
Almost everything there completely wiped out. And the NASDAQ, everything and more has been completely wiped out.
Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
Testing right now. It's about, can I get you to speak a little to Aaron?
Yeah, 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. You can imagine the American economy is an economic train moving down a track that has no ending. And it picks up cargo and passengers as we go along. There's 330 million of us now, and there were only 4 million in 1790. And our farms are incredibly more productive, and we have 75 million houses, and we had a few huts then, and we have great universities and all of these things. So we're just constantly moving more and more cargo and passengers along, and occasionally that train is going to get derailed. In 2008, you had something close to a bubble in home real estate. 50 million people had mortgages roughly at that time out of 75 million homeowners. When that bubble burst, it hit home to probably 40% of the households in the country, these people that had mortgages on their houses. And fear spread in the month of September 2008 at a rate that was like a tsunami.
After hearing those phenomenal words from Mr. Buffett himself, that brings me to the topic. Let's start with the basics. Why even consider something like the drug trade when examining the 2008 financial market crash? Well, the 2008 crisis was marked by a severe liquidity crunch. Banks were falling, credit was drying up, people were scrambling for cash. But yet, despite all this chaos, some cash-heavy industries, like the drug trade, were thriving. These sectors outside the formal economy didn't really rely on the traditional banking, traditional credit institutions, making them surprisingly resilient during this financial turmoil. Many feel as if the government saved us, but here's a quick clip from Brian Westbury explaining why they didn't. Take a look.
And the Federal Reserve started a program called quantitative easing. That's where they started to buy bonds and inject cash into the economy in an attempt to save us. At the same time, in fact, just a few weeks later, on October 8th of 2008, Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, President Bush, the Bush White House, Congress passed TARP, the Troubled Asset Relief Plan. And it was $700 billion of government spending to save our banking system. Okay? Now, I want you to take a look at this chart a little more closely. Quantitative easing started right here here. TARP was passed right there. Did it help? In fact, the worst part of the crisis was after TARP was passed. The stock market fell 40%. Financial company stocks fell 80% after TARP was passed. In fact, if I look at this chart and kind of squint at it and look at all those red dots, I would say the more the Fed met, the more the Fed did, the worse it got. So something else must have been going on.
Underground economy, we can see that these sectors may have played a unique role in keeping the cash flowing at a time where formal financial institutions and systems were struggling. This cash flow could have indirectly supported consumer spending and non-formal employment, acting as a hidden buffer in the economy. With that being said, let's dig a little deeper into some research and what it tells us. Economic studies on shadow economies often point to them as some sort of safety valve during the downturns. These informal sectors, whether they're through illegal or unregulated activities, help to provide jobs, especially for those who were hit the hardest during the recession. During the 2008 crisis, cash was in a short supply, but industries like the drug trade, the drug market, continue to generate money, helping it to circulate. In fact, past studies show a complex and often covert relationship between organized crime and formal financial institutions. That's right. Money laundering, the operations, the one thing that many know about. For instance, money laundering isn't always about cleaning dirty money. Sometimes it's about helping push liquidity into legit businesses, legit banks, even if it means it's illegal at times. Now, with that being shown, after seeing this graph I created, let's talk data. To explore this theory, we need specific kind of data. First, economic data on drug trade revenues during this crisis, and to kind of understand the baseline for understanding its financial scale. Next, cash flow, the statistics from 2008, which would be crucial, especially in regions hit the hardest by the recession. Then there's the comparison between the formal and informal sectors, seeing where cash was moving in each sector could provide real insight. And lastly, case studies on financial reports or drug-related cash seizes, which might help us show the significance of the underground networks and how they were circulating funds during the downturn. So with that being said, once again, how would we approach answering the research question? Our analysis would look at the regions with high levels of drug trade or just trade in general and compare them to the economic performance to the areas where the underground economy was less prominent. Did those regions show more resilience in cash flow or employment? We'd also look at the reports from law enforcement and financial institutions on this cash seizes. Data that could reveal the scale of the underground economics activities during the recession. To sum it up, while the drug trade might have been seen as the economic villain, it could have been the one thing that played an unexpected role in easing the 2008 crisis impact by supplying liquidity when traditional banks and systems failed. This isn't to say that drug trade is a positive force at all, but understanding these hidden dynamics could help policymakers in the near future and economists better prepare for the future financial disruptions, perhaps even without relying on shadow economy. With that being said, thanks for tuning in to the Real World Unscripted. If you enjoyed today's episode or even have any thoughts on shadow economy, underground economy, please subscribe and drop us a review. Next time, we'll dive into another corner of the underground economy, the underground world. Who knows what economic secrets will be uncovered? Until then, stay curious. I'm Quave Booker, and this is the Real World Unscripted. See you guys next time.
This is the Real World Unscripted.